Uni and Mally, living life like a movie, and we can see clearly from our vantage point. Uni and Mally, loving life like a movie. Won't you come see clearly from our vantage point, from our vantage point, from our vantage point.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 1 of Vantage Point.
And we are so glad that you've decided to tune in as we are sharing our love of movies with the world.
My name is Malachi. I am an engineer, an actor, and a model. And someday, maybe, I'm hoping to, be a film director.
I'm Uni Love, and I am a mother and a household manager. I'm also an entrepreneur managing an arts and entertainment company. And I'm an artist myself, a music artist and performance artist. So for all the working moms watching, I know you guys know how difficult it is to get the whole family to do something together. And so that is what we love about movies. Movies are kind of like a gateway to intergenerational fun and dialogue, and just really bring people together and gets the conversation going. So that's what we will be sharing with you guys, is like the conversations that we have in our family. And along with the weekly content that we'll be putting out, we'll also put out discussion questions and activities that you can do at home with your own family.
Oh yeah. I also love many things about movies. One in particular being how horror movies and thriller movies can really show you how great your life is compared to these characters that are being put in horrible situations.
Absolutely. I love that about horror too. So what you can expect from us, guys, will be weekly content. Can't promise what day of the week you'll get it because everyone's really busy here. But we will post it ahead of time and you'll know when new videos are coming. We'll be reviewing new movies. We'll be following 2 TV shows for right now. The Walking Dead and The Good Place is 2 of our favorite shows. Just really thought-provoking stuff comes up on these shows that we love to talk about, and we think other people should be talking about it too. So we'll have the videos, and then we'll have discussion questions and activities for you to do at home that'll be coming out. We also would love to hear from you guys, any topics that you want us to discuss or to do a live, or movies, shows that you want us to review or talk about. We'd love to hear what you guys would want to see. So, the new Joker film. So this film's written and directed by Todd Phillip. It's interesting because this is the director of the Hangover films, which are comedies, and there's nothing funny about this movie. It was co-written by Scott Silver, who worked on 8 Mile, which that makes a little bit more sense for the Joker film. Starring Joaquin Phoenix, who I was not familiar with prior to this film, but his performance obviously is just mind-blowing, so we're happy to have met Joaquin.
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
You think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? Send in the clowns.
So, brief overview, the plot here. I would say to consider this film as a prequel to the other Batman movies that we're familiar with, like the Christopher Nolan series of Batman movies. I would say this is a prequel, and it's showing you how the Joker became the Joker. So it's a little bit different than Joker films that we've seen before. Malachi, what's your take?
Well, number one, I love this movie. It's a great movie. But particularly what I loved about this movie was the score. The score was amazing. It really gets you into the feel of it. Mm-hmm. And the consistency of the movie was really good. It was really gritty. It really showed you what Gotham is, what they're about, why it's horrible, and why the Joker needs to do what he needs to do. And also, one thing that I really respect with this movie is their creative approach to a really familiar story. Well, kind of lack of a familiar story, because no one knows who the Joker is. So it's a nice little creative thing to just show, like, oh, now we know who he is, who he was, at least.
Right.
And get to see who he is. So I really love that about this movie.
What would you rate it?
Definitely an A+. The acting. The acting is probably...
spectacular.
Yeah, the acting is A+, which is like the main reason why it gets an A+ is because Joaquin Phoenix does an amazing job at portraying the Joker in a new way that we haven't ever seen before, and he's amazing. He's side by side with Heath Ledger at this point. He's really good. He's really good. He's amazing. He's awesome.
What I would say I loved about it was the artistry in how it was shot. Cinematography is just unbelievable. It's a sad movie and it is a dark movie, but it is beautiful to look at. Like, it's aesthetically very pleasing. It's just beautifully shot. So if you can see it while it's still in theaters, I suggest seeing it on the big screen because it's just beautiful. I agree with Malachi. The score is just, again, dark, ominous, haunting score, but it's beautiful. Like, it's beautiful music that fits so appropriately with the story that it just takes the movie to a whole other level. And then another thing that I love is just the realism of it. There's no hero that saves the day. There's, no false pretenses. The movie just is what it is, and they talk a lot about real issues, mental health, disparities in the healthcare system that lead to people with mental illnesses kind of falling through the cracks, and what that feels like, for the person suffering from mental illness, and then how society kind of plays a role in worsening people's mental illnesses. And it kind of sends a message that, like, villainy is not always inherently evil. It's like sometimes you're just pushed you're pushed that way. So I would say it's also A+ film. See it ASAP. So moving on to The Kitchen.
Just to be clear, now we run this neighborhood.
Step off my business.
Baby, it's my business now.
They're gonna swallow this entire city. You go to war, there's no coming back.
Alfonso Corretti wants to talk.
If we go to Brooklyn, we're dead.
What do you wear to something like that? You get dressed up?
Are you kidding? What? My God, I lost count again.
So this film's directed by Andrea Berloff. This is her directorial debut. It's the first movie she's ever directed, and it is spectacular. So you got an all-star cast. Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elizabeth Moss are playing the wives of Irish mobsters in 1978 Hell's Kitchen. And so this is kind of like a familiar type of story with the mobsters, the wives, whatever. What were you expecting to see from this, Malachi?
Believe it or not, I was actually expecting for it to be trash. I was expecting for once again someone to try to make a story with empowered women, but to fail. But surprisingly, it worked really well this time. And what I really liked about it was the character development. Number one, it was amazing. A lot of characters that did a lot of improvement over the story. There's a lot of characters that changed their whole thought process over the story. That was really good. And then the relationships between the characters, very, very believable.
Yeah.
I would if someone showed me this movie and said it was based off a true story, I believe them. Because the character relations, the character relations are great. And then the performances. The performances are what take this movie, like, sky high. Especially, I keep forgetting her name.
Melissa McCarthy?
Yes.
Suki St. James?
Yes.
Yes.
She's amazing in this movie. She's great. She's awesome. You can really see the depth, like, to her face when she's making certain decisions. There's one decision, I'm not going to say what it is, but when she's making that decision, you can see the depth in her eyes of the decision that she has to make.
Yeah.
And just throughout the movie, she really shows, like, her leadership, her weaknesses, her strengths, all of it. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And the whole movie is just really good. As far as my rating goes, I wouldn't go as far to give it an A, but I would say A-. Solid A-, yeah.
I won't get into my rating yet. What I loved about this movie is that it's a fresh take on a familiar and very entertaining story. So, like, we love mobster movies, we love gangster movies, like, just as Americans, like, we love it. Like, New Jack City, Paid in Full, like, we love the gangster stuff. And this was just a really different approach. Like, it's not often that you see women, you know, in the lead roles, right, in those movies. So it was just a different perspective. Even though it's a familiar story, it's not predictable at all. Like, every time you think you know what's going on, it's like, surprise! Like, that's not what's going on.
Not happening.
And so it keeps you, like, hooked in there for the full, I think the movie is, like, over 2 hours, but it keeps you, like, hooked, and you're on the edge of your seat because every time you think you know what's going to happen next, that's not what happens. So I love that about this. Obviously the strong female leads for me carried the film. Like they were all just breathtaking, like, and believable. Like, you can tell, like, it meant something to them to do this film, and it comes through in each of the characters. It's just something you have to see to understand it and to feel it. You just have to see these actresses' performances. And I would say the pace, you know, of the movie,
it's really good.
Was good. Like, it doesn't take forever to get into the action. It's not dragging. There's no, like, lag. Like, oh, those 30 minutes I could have lived without. It's like, every moment of the movie felt relevant and it was entertaining. So the pace of it, I think, was great. I would give it an A. It's like an easy A for me. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's an A+. I would have liked a better soundtrack, maybe. Yeah. And, like, it wasn't as beautifully shot, but again, it's like, it's a gangster movie. So it's like, it's blood, it's fights, it's guns.
What do you really
that's what I'm saying. So, like, for what it was solid. It was more than solid. It was great. So it was an A. But just for me, aesthetically looking at it, like, and we just talked about the Joker and, like, how beautiful the Joker movie was. I can't say it's an A+, but it's a solid A. So everyone see it ASAP. It's on Redbox. I don't know what streaming sites and things like that, like, it might be on, but definitely worth watching. And it has great rewatch value. Yeah. Because of all the plot twists, I feel like you could watch it over and over again and, like, every time pick up on something new
that happened within those plot twists.
For sure. Yeah. Well, that's it for this episode, guys.
Thank you for joining us for episode 1 of Vantage Point. We hope that you will join us next week on Monday.
Please like this video. Yes. Comment. Let us know what you think. Again, send us things that you want to see covered. And subscribe. So we need 100 subscribers in the next month to be legit in the eyes of YouTube. So yes, we want to be legit. So please subscribe. We appreciate it. And tell a friend to tell a friend. And we'll see you on Monday.